The second I finished the dry lotus cookie and then I drank the pear soup, I was back in the Qing Dynasty.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special royal edition of Feng Bros Food.
Yes, we are going to be having a Qing Dynasty Imperial Feast. We are here today with Nelson Chan from Hoopin' Life.
What's poppin', everybody, man? I can't wait to eat this.
I don't know if you guys remember, we did a video about royal Korean cuisine in Seoul, Korea, but we are not in China right now. We're in the 626.
All right, David, we're talking about having a royal Qing Dynasty feast here, you know, that is fit for anybody of like the emperor to the eunuch or someone else in the royal court. But what is the Qing Dynasty?
Nell is the best Chinese historian amongst us.
The Qing Dynasty is the last Chinese dynasty that ended in the early 1900s.
You know all those like classic Chinese movies and martial arts movies? That used to be what the world was like. Royal Qing Dynasty cuisine. Let's go.
Does this look like the Forbidden City or what?
And I have eaten at so many Chinese restaurants in America. This is probably the closest reproduction to a spot from Beijing that I've ever been.
You can see they have all the Chinese instruments up there.
Types are erhus,
Pipas.
Chef Tian from Beijing is gonna be joining us,
Wow.
AKA seafood. Let's eat, or as the Mandarin, 吃饭.
吃饭.
We are here with Chef Tian. 你好.
你好，你好，
What is this called? 这个叫什么名字？
这叫小吊梨汤。
Can you say it like a Beijinger?
小吊梨汤.
Yo, Nell, you knew about this drink.
Because I know my mom makes this drink.
Is
That's
this kind of a
it.
sense of nostalgia for you?
Yeah. At first I thought it was a tea, but when I drank it, I was like, yo, this tea tastes like a soup to me that I drank before.
这个菜呢，主要是适合官府的私房菜。当时呢，是为了在官宦人家互相呢宴请。
Basically, in Beijing, they would have all the top chefs from different regions of China.
With really different cuisines.
All different flavors come together. It's just like being in the big city of LA or New York. Obviously, a lot of different chefs from all over the country or world.
我们很兴奋，就是开始 Cheers.
干杯。
这个菜呢叫油蓉细猪，因为洛杉矶这边的天气呢比较干，跟北京差不多。
Beijing is very dry climate, and LA, especially where we're at, like in San Gabriel Valley, also very dry. So he was saying you drink this and you eat this, and just kind of like get the moisture flowing.
Whoa. It's got a lot of flavor. Right off the bat, really flavorful. Has like a burst of like citrus flavor. You know what it reminds me of, David? Growing up, mom and dad, we would eat the jelly left over from the cold like chicken or something.
Yeah, the dong.
Or the fish, yeah, the dong.
所以就是做这个菜用美国的东西是很难吗？
到美国来呢，可以完全用美国的食材，但是用我们本身的味道就可以。
Next dish coming up.
Wow.
Yo,
What?
look at that.
Yo, what is that thing stabbed into that burrito looking like thing?
Did they have this back in the Qing Dynasty?
第一个呢是一个芝麻酱菠菜啊，
Classic Beijing style.
然后这个呢是椒麻鸡，我们把麻辣汁儿呢放在这个小胶囊里，
给我们看。
对，根据个人的口味，然后把这个汁儿浇在上面。然后接下来呢，这个是温拌鲜腐皮，老北京熏鸭胸。
It's not Peking duck.
Ah.
It's Beijing sliced smoked duck.
There is different types of Beijing duck. Let's get that straight.
Let's get into it.
All right, the spinach, sesame sauce on spinach. It's like a whole little square. It's actually a sandwich. It's got sesame sauce in the middle and then on top.
Yo, that's actually really good.
My God.
Oh my God!
I would have never expected it to taste like that. Just spinach and sesame?
That spinach was chopped up, but it wasn't too fine.
Is it me, or was there like a hint of like a wasabi-like flavor in it?
Yeah, I think a little bit of
Mustard?
Chinese hot mustard up in there.
Yo, I gotta say that was the best version of that I've had in my life.
Pipette, what are we, in the hospital right now? Dang, the whole thing. Let's try this.
Tastes like a Shandong dish.
Yeah.
So even though these are kind of a mixture of different provinces in China, I do think that the most influential cuisine in the north, including Beijing, is Shandong. You guys ready to go on a tofu skin?
Yo, man, I love tofu skins. Let's do it. And you know what I love about this tofu skin? And this is gonna sound weird, but that was really tender.
For tofu skin, you have to soak it in whether it's water or like a specific type of like soup base or whatever. Maybe because it was, you know, soaked in a soup base, it had that fragrance of
And maybe
flavor.
there was like flowers.
Yes, I do.
Probably,
I
yeah.
think there was a lot of cilantro, a lot of greens, maybe green onions as well. All right, man. Smoked duck. I might have to hit it with some sauce.
Sure, this ain't no your typical Chinese roast duck.
Yo, I think if you use this on your next bite of duck,
Yo,
you're not gonna regret it. Don't forget about the plate. It's in the shape of a pear.
What would you say your favorite thing was on this plate?
Either the tofu skins or the spinach sesame.
Yo, I gotta say the tofu skins.
Tofu
man.
skin.
I
yeah.
love tofu skins.
Same, man. Just
Tofu pea, love it. Next dish.
在前面这个呢叫酥皮虾
You can eat the skin.
啊，然后下边是清炒鹿笋和干煸口蘑。
Look at how they kind of separated the skin from the meat of it, and it's just like this big like flour thing. I think they could have made it in the shape of a heart.
Cheers,
guys. Crispy shrimp.
The #1 selling dish.
oh my god, that glaze
Wow.
of sauce.
Oh wow, bro.
That was the
I would-
goat of all shrimps.
And it was definitely about separating the shell from the meat and cooking that separately. That's really like.
It was a gigantic shrimp, but it didn't lose its flavor. Sometimes big shrimps,
No, big shrimps, yeah.
they lose their flavor.
They do.
All right, let's try these
The
guys.
mushrooms.
I don't even know.
That mushroom got an interesting texture. Ooh. They've cut small slits into the top of it so that the inside gets crispy, but they have battered it really lightly. Like you know, there's a light
I see it,
powder
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
The majority of ABCs probably didn't come from any sort of like royal lineage, but here we're eating royal Chinese food.
It's special, and I think it's something that's like not everybody has to do it, but I do think that if you are interested, it's totally worth checking out.
Wow, that is the littlest candle flame for a soup that I've seen. I don't know if everything else that we ate was super ancient because it was like a mixture of generations and cultures, but this
But it's just this
this
pie.
looks like it's from the Qing Dynasty for real.
镇店名菜叫黄坛子，这个汤呢是用老母鸡的汤，然后炖制8小时以后，然后成的这种状态。而且呢，这个有5种吃法。第一种呢是先可以把这个稍微搅拌一下啊。
Okay, let's do it.
搅拌一
Let's
下
do it.
然
Let's
后
teach it us #1 way.
然后吃一下这个原味。第二种呢是加上香菜，
They put in the shengtai.
对
The #2 way. Okay.
对
Oh, it's kind of like a hot pot, man.
对。第三种呢可以加上这个腐乳，
Fulu.
腐乳
This is definitely fermented.
Put the fulu.
I like it. I like the paste.
Oh, the paste is good.
That adds another flavor. That adds a whole nother side to it, man.
现在的年轻人呢都比较工作压力比较大，他需要刺激，所以呢我们就加了一些辣椒，
I ate the whole pepper.
继续添加。
I've made a huge mistake.
That
第五
spiced up
种
my
吃
life.
法是把这个
And this is the fifth one.
二米饭2种米融在一起，紫米和白米融在一起的饭，然后倒在里边。
I'm gonna add the fulu.
They don't put MSG in their food. That's what the fulu is for.
Oh.
It had a little kick. That tastes so different than when we first ate it, but it's still kind of in the same frame, but just with a whole bunch of different flavors added on. There's 2 different versions of the soup you can get here. There's one for men and one geared for women. And of course we got the male one. So there's beef
sure.
tendon and fish maw in here. Obviously it's kind of hard to tell what you're eating exactly, but
There's
You
chicken
got-
in this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This actually low-key was a winner.
yeah,
I mean, I can see why you like it, but I personally not a fan of it. But
not a fan of the fulu.
not a fan of the food.
I never had anything like this before.
This is for sure ancient.
I like how they're giving you a different plate for each dish.
Very classic Chinese banquet style.
这个呢是蜜椒牛柳粒，配上我们的就是自制豆腐，用豆腐蘸着 sauce。
这个是什么
这是北京的名酒，叫桂花陈酒。
Beard.
You can get it with a little bit of this carrot sauce.
So,
No, eat it with the sauce. I swear to God, this was a zucchini. So this is a Bistro Nas delicacy. Definitely we're eating a fusion of dishes.
Tofu's really good.
almost tastes like a
Kind of like
tomato.
an egg.
We stepped in here expecting old Qing Dynasty food. There is definitely some of that, and there's also some of Bistro Nas's specialty dishes that they've come up with.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because not only would you not want to eat everything that was like 100%, but you can't even recreate it anymore.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
Like, how
almost-
is he gonna know what the actual dish is gonna look and taste like?
One of the owners of Bistro Na has the bloodline of one of the 8 noble families that used to guard the emperor.
What?
Like the most entrusted inner circle.
Really? So he gets to eat all the good food then?
Well, he should know. I mean, he should know the
Wow.
recipes. Some of the recipes are passed down. So that's why some of the
That's
recipes
crazy.
are very traditional, and obviously some of them are coming from him, you know, in 2018.
这个呢是我们做的宫爆龙虾，
所以是你们自己的想法。
自己的想法。
So this is from Beijing, but not a traditional dish.
这样子好像宫保鸡。We got sour, sweet, and spicy. 酸甜麻辣.
So traditionally, Kung Pao dishes are made with peanuts, but this one is gonna be made with sweet roasted walnuts. Man, look at this piece of lobster, man. That is beautiful right there. No, gotta eat the brain though.
Brains.
I like that in Beijing, they're like willing to be playful with the food.
Yeah.
You know, even some Chinese Americans will be like, oh, I don't know if you could do Kung Pao lobster. But if they're doing it in Beijing, I mean,
Hey, that's the center of China right now. So like, if they're doing it in the center of China, it's pretty much good to go.
我们管这个呢叫冰与火之融。
So this is like the turned up version of the appetizer that we had before, which is the fish jelly. But now they got Hokkaido scallops, you got surf clams, and tuna. Very refreshing. This looks like steak.
I thought it was a duck at first.
Yo.
oh, that tuna is crazy.
Yeah. With the light sear on it?
Yeah.
My gosh.
That broke down in my mouth. The cool thing about the surf clams, they organized it and placed it in a shape of a fish. Surf clam's nice because the surf has a very light flavor. You know how you have it in your mouth, right? But you really feel that kick when you swallow it because that hits the back and just that pause. All right, guys, that was the last savory dish that we had. Now what we did, we had a mixture of two different menus. It was a $150 one and the $58 menu, and we had select dishes from each one.
最前面的这是豌豆黄，接下来呢是驴打滚，这是芝麻如意卷，最前面是枣花酥。
Sweet paste.
对，这个非常香滑啊。
No other additional additives, sweeteners.
Wow.
It took 4 hours to do the peak dessert.
I've never tasted anything like that before.
Now that's what you call sweet peas, man.
这个是驴打滚，
Okay.
驴打滚呢是非常软糯。
日本人拿了是默契的是这个本来。
对
Japanese got mochi from China.
They Japanese got mochi from
We can
China.
say that
I'm sticking
confidently.
by it.
Yeah,
I've read that before.
I'm not saying that Chinese invented mochi, but mochi originally came from China.
把馅儿完全卷在里边儿，这样呢，口感吃起来非常有层次。
Good, I like it a lot.
Oh.
这个呢是芝麻如意卷，
That you're gonna taste the black sesame first, but there's a whole types of bunch of sesames in there. With the mint on top.
Okay,
Of fire.
sesame. That's pretty good, man. Try to process everything.
The reason these ancient sweets are not that sweet is because they gotta use honey because sugar didn't exist back then.
Right.
So to properly replicate the dynastic experience, you can't use, sugar.
Right. And sugar would be an easier way to sweeten it.
这个是枣花酥啊，用枣泥和面粉卷成花儿的形状。
One of the best looking cookies I ever had, by the way.
This is one of those cookies that you do need to drink a tea with. I can't believe that since we sat down, this has accompanied us through every dish.
I drank like 50 cups already.
Bro.
I'm not even gonna lie, I swear, man.
Yo, your voice already sounds different.
Hell yeah, it does.
I never felt more Chinese than just that bite. 我有一个感觉，我是一个很标准的中国人。现在以前中国人。
Nelson, we had a meal. Okay, you Cantonese, you haven't had a lot of food like this. You, as far as you know, right, you have no northern roots.
Not that I know of.
So how do you feel connecting to this food? Like, because I know you eat a lot of Cantonese food. We grew up Cantonese, right, going to Chinatown. But a lot of the time when you grow up thinking what's Chinese, you're just thinking Cantonese.
Right,
Chinatown's
right.
your world.
There are some certain foods or dishes that were kind of like, the Southern style. Let's just say maybe like the pear soup or even like the shrimp and the filet, that's more, not specifically made in a northern area. But like I said, there was a bunch of crazy stuff that I eat today that I would have never thought that I would, experience it. I guess after eating this meal, I'm a little bit more Chinese.
Especially with Chef Tian Sifu kind of explaining everything to me. The last time I've had that happen was when I used to live in Beijing for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you got the first row seat because you can communicate with seafood the best.
Right.
And with Chinese people in general.
Obviously has ABCs that are pretty Americanized.
Right.
Nell, you're from Macau, but Macau also already westernized as a Portuguese colony,
Yeah.
Hong Kong a British colony. Our dad's from Hong Kong. Our mom obviously more from a traditional place, Shandong. I just feel like it's cool to see it all. I don't like it to be like, oh, you guys are acting so American. You guys are dissing one side, or you guys being so fob, leaning into the ancient Chinese culture that's so un-American. I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, a lot of people do see it that way.
Yeah.
But I just want everybody to know
I don't agree.
that I don't see it that way.
Asian American, you rep both.
Yeah.
You rep both.
And I
But
feel like
people think when you rep both, you're
gotta be more-
like a compressed spectrum.
No. Yeah, no.
Like you're just teetering somewhere in the middle between like this side. But I'm like, I want the whole thing.
Yeah.
I want to be from over here all the way to over here.
I think a lot of people generally think being like a Chinese American or ABC is hard. Like it's not that cool, or for whatever reason, like maybe your parents came over from this area or whatever. But like I think the one thing that you can do now and you can and feel good about yourself is that you get to take what you want from each culture. You get to choose.
You get mix and
no
match.
one's gonna tell you, oh, you can't be this Chinese or you can't be that. I'm like, nah. If you like it and you own up to it and you thoroughly do enjoy it and you respect it, then take what you want. Like, I make jokes about Chinese stuff and I don't even speak Chinese that well. Like, I don't feel bad about it because I know that I, like, at the end of the day, respect the culture. And I will move it forward in my own way. I don't know if I'm gonna be teaching Mandarin classes anytime soon. All right, maybe I'm not Lao sure like that, but I will do it in my own way, and that's what I feel like we kind of do on our channel, you know.
No, for sure, for sure.
And I know our Mandarin is even bad. Like even David's is not perfect, and mine is terrible sometimes. So, but I'm trying. We're trying to just when we speak Mandarin in videos or Cantonese in videos, and it's not perfect. It's like I know people roast us for it, but I'm just like. Who else is speaking Mandarin and Cantonese in their videos? Like, and we're just saying it like it's normal because it should be normal. It shouldn't be weird. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh no, you can't speak Canto in your video now because you speak fluent Canto and you're from there. So I'm like, what's the big deal?
Be the person you want to be, not what society perceives you to be, man.
It's make it normal, like.
Yeah, and just like I want to make just even coming here as an ABC who is pretty deep in the American pop culture. Normal too.
I think it can be normal. I think
have the whole span, man.
I think ABC should come here. I'm not saying you got to eat here all the time. It's kind of expensive, but and you know I don't know if you want to you want to eat at like Noodle World or like Soup Plantation or something like that. Anyways, there's like a million other spots you might want to go to, but I think you've got to try this because especially if you're not going to go back to Beijing or Shanghai and eat this for real, this is like the next.
Hey,
best
this was. Hey, now we ain't go to Beijing yet. We all go to Beijing and make a movie, but this is a pretty good introduction.
Top 3 dishes.
I'm sticking with the sesame spinach, obviously the shrimp.
We know the shrimp is
We know
good.
that I'm going with the fulu and the chicken soup.
Fulu and
That
the
my
chicken
first
soup.
bite of the fulu and the chicken soup. Woo.
Yeah.
That was wild. No?
I really like the tofu skin in the appetizer plate. You know, that's something really good. I like tofu skin. 2, the filet was really good. I like the filet. And the red bean mochi.
Low-key, so one thing that you guys didn't say that I really enjoyed was the fish jelly appetizer.
Oh, good.
I like that. I like
okay.
that. Especially the second one with the packed in seafood, the premium joint.
That was hella
That was nice.
I'm so glad you guys watched that video. I'm so glad you guys were able to experience that with us. Please let us know in the comment section below what other foods you would like us to try on Fung Bros Foods. That was a very special Imperial Royal episode. Make sure you check out Nelson on his channel, Hoopin' Life. We are in the 626 at Bistro Nas, and until next time, we're out. Peace.
To any ABC who's interested in going back to China, every ABC that I've ever talked to is that when they go back to Beijing, something changes a little bit.
Changes their life a little bit?
It changes their life a little bit. Like
did.
everybody has said that to me. You can go back to Shanghai, I'm not saying it won't change your life too. Maybe it does, but Beijing for sure.
I think it's time to book my flight and go change my life.